This is my daily driver, Radiomaster TX16S, and I just got done flashing it to EdgeTX. And the point of this video is to help you decide if you want to follow along. Because EdgeTX is a new, exciting firmware for your OpenTX radio. You know how OpenTX hasn't had an update in like 2+ years? Yeah, well, somebody else noticed and they were like, hey, this is an open source project. All we have to do is fork it and we can start doing all the work and making all the improvements that people have been waiting for and not getting. And they did, and it's called EdgeTX. But it's new, and it's still a little rough around the edges. So the big question is, do you want to switch to EdgeTX today? I'm going to give you a few firm reasons why you might want to switch. I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. Reason number one why you might want to switch to EdgeTX today. If you have a Radiomaster TX16S, it has a touchscreen in it. It doesn't work because the OpenTX devs haven't released OpenTX 2.4, and that was when they said it would be supported years ago. But EdgeTX has added support for the touchscreen that is in your Radiomaster TX16S, which means boop, oh, boop, oh, boop. Aha, yes, it's just a touch screen. It's just a freaking touch screen, and it works just like you would expect. It's a touch screen, drag, drop, etc. And they've done more improvements than that. Some of these improvements haven't really come to fruition, but like they've added the ability to take these widgets that are on your main screen, like this widget, and if you double tap it, it goes to full screen. That's kind of cool. Now, in this case, all that does is it lets you see the other channels, lets you see all 32 channels instead of just the first 8. And you might argue, well, that's not that useful, but there more are coming. Oh, look, I can full screen this one little value. Okay, not that useful. But you can imagine a scenario where somebody releases a widget that when it goes to full, like imagine if TBS Agent Light, instead of being a Lua script that you have to go sys down and Lua script TGF. Imagine if it was a widget that was just running on your home screen, on your main screen. And it was like showing your Crossfire information. And then when you double tap it, boom, there's TBS Agent Light just right there at your fingertips. It really means that scripts and widgets can be much more integrated into the operating system. That's coming. So touchscreen support available for Radiomaster users, and enhanced widget support and enhanced interface available to everyone, regardless of whether you have a touchscreen or not, without basically opening the radio up and doing a solder mod to an inverter on the board. Well, they can run the control link downstream at full speed, but the upstream telemetry doesn't run at full speed, and that means that like Lua scripts don't work and your telemetry sensors keep dropping out. And many people don't like that, and they open up their radios, they solder their radios, and maybe they break the radio and damage it in the process. If you have one of those radios that requires an inverter mod, EdgeTX fixes the problem in software, so you don't have to solder on your radio anymore. To me, this is a no-brainer. If you have a QX7 and you haven't done the inverter mod and you're using any of the high-speed protocols, Crossfire, ExpressLRS, Tracer, or Ghost, you should just install EdgeTX right now and save yourself the hassle of opening up your radio. Reason number 3 why you might want to install EdgeTX on your radio right now has to do with the gimbals. EdgeTX has the ability to pull the gimbals at 500 Hertz. And that's relevant because some control links have the ability to run at 500 Hertz. Specifically today, Immersion RC Ghost can run at 500 Hertz and ExpressLRS can run at 500 Hertz. And we can expect that TBS won't let that stand for long and that there will be a 500 Hertz version of Crossfire. In fact, Crossfire v3 supports 500 Hertz, but currently Crossfire v3 is just a wire protocol thing. There's no Crossfire v3 in the air that runs at 500 Hertz. So that's probably coming, but it's not here yet. If you're running ExpressLRS or Ghost and you're running at 500 Hertz, then if your gimbals are only being pulled at 250 Hertz or 100 Hertz or some lower number, then it's pointless, isn't it? It's pointless to run your RC link at 500 Hertz if you're only running your gimbals at less than that. So if you're interested in getting the absolute lowest latency possible, then you need to be running EdgeTX and pulling your gimbals at 500 Hertz instead of OpenTX, which is not pulling them at 500 Hertz. Reason number 4 why you might want to switch to EdgeTX today. Do you use your RC controller on a PC simulator a lot? You plug in USB to the top of the controller and you use it on your simulator. If you do, there is a bug in OpenTX that means that your latency is probably way, way higher than it should be. And if you've ever wondered, why does my simulator fly like crap? Why do the physics feel so bad? Maybe that's why. Maybe it's actually the latency of your OpenTX radio, not anything to do with your PC or the simulator. Well, that's just a supposition, but the bug is there and the latency is real. Check this out. Here is the GitHub pull request from Captain Bry, and he shows this distribution of latency, and he shows just how freaking bad the latency actually is. But EdgeTX has implemented a fix for this in software. And if you do that, if you play simulator with your controller a lot, then you absolutely should switch to EdgeTX to get this fix. It's going to make a big difference in how your simulator feels. Reason number 5 why you might want to switch to EdgeTX today is not going to apply to a lot of people, but if you're one of the people out there who owns the FlySky Nirvana NV14 radio, EdgeTX fully supports it. And you've been waiting for this for a long freaking time. When this radio first came out, it had a pre-release version of firmware specifically for it. It didn't run the standard OpenTX. You couldn't flash it. It was missing a bunch of features, and the dev said, don't worry, OpenTX is going to support this radio soon, and then everything will be fine, and OpenTX never did. Now, that's not entirely the OpenTX project's fault. There was some stuff that went on with the devs of this radio, and we don't need to hash that out. But the bottom line is, if you've been holding on to this radio for a long time, waiting for official support, OpenTX still doesn't support it, but EdgeTX does. And that means you can finally just flash and be on all the modern features that you've been waiting for. If you've got the Nirvana NV14, I mean, it's not like you have up-to-date firmware. Why wouldn't you flash it, right? EdgeTX today. And the final reason number 6, why you might want to switch to EdgeTX today is that EdgeTX actually is actively developed and supported. And that's a little, people are going to perceive me a little bit as taking shots because yes, the OpenTX devs are working. They are putting out small dot releases with little fixes, but it just feels like everything takes for freaking ever. It took over a year for Crossfire Shot to get rolled into OpenTX, and TBS did all the work on that pretty much and just said, here it is. And for whatever reason, the OpenTX devs took forever to put it in. Immersion RC Ghost support. It happens, but it feels like they're just kind of going through the motions. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know you're watching this, and you might object to it. It really is true. Big things like touchscreen support, like the EdgeTX devs just completely revamped the kernel of this radio to run on a new real-time operating system, and that's going to make things better and higher performance and fewer bugs. I don't know, but it's a big thing that they've done, and OpenTX devs just don't seem to be interested in doing it. The EdgeTX project has a very active Discord server where you can get support, where you can make suggestions and feature requests, and it just feels like this is a project that is alive in a way that OpenTX just doesn't. And if that's exciting to you, if you just want to be on that cutting edge, then download EdgeTX and install it today. I actually have a video I just finished making. I'll put a link down in the video description about how to update to EdgeTX 2.5, the latest version of EdgeTX. That is the first version where I have felt comfortable making it my daily driver. And in fact, I have, because they have, well, it just is they've added a few things that I was waiting for, including the ability to back up and save your models using the computer, which is a big deal to me. But it is on my daily driver, and unless there's some kind of a deal-breaking bug, that's what's going to stay there. So if you want to follow along, link in the video description to a tutorial. That's going to do it for this video, though. Are you on EdgeTX? Tell us in the comments what your experience has been like and why you switched and why you like it. Or if you tried EdgeTX and it didn't work out for you, tell us in the comments why you switched. I got a camera. I don't know. It's beeping at me. Thanks for watching. Happy flying. You guys, I don't know where I am, and I don't know what's going to happen, but if I don't make it out of this, I just want to know that you subscribe to my channel, or maybe join my Patreon, or Or click one of these videos I picked out for you.